Welcome back to the Unpack Mindset, folks. My name is Jesse Garcia. And if you're new to my channel, occasionally I like talking about situations that start out normal and they get flipped on their head. So let's dive into this video and then we'll talk about it.
Tonight, an update on a First Coast News investigation. A Florida doctor is now behind bars facing a second-degree manslaughter charge after a patient died after having his wrong organ removed. According to the Walton County Sheriff's Office, a grand jury indicted Dr. Thomas Shapnofsky in the 2024 death of a patient. 70-year-old William Bryan, a veteran from Alabama, died during a surgery at Ascension Sacred Heart Emerald Coast Hospital in Miramar Beach. Now, the Sheriff's Office says Dr. Shapnofsky removed the victim's liver instead of his spleen, and that resulted in catastrophic blood loss and his death on the operating table. We're told the grand jury found probable cause to charge that the actions taken in the operating room constituted criminal conduct under Florida law. Dr. Shapnofsky was arrested today. Tonight, he's in the Walton County Jail. If convicted, he could face up to 15 years in prison.
Man, have you ever heard of a story that sounds like it just started as a bad dream? This is one of those stories. Where do I start on this one? This one's got everything, folks. It's a 70-year-old veteran, a Navy veteran, routine surgery, and a surgeon who, according to the paperwork, took a wrong turn, man. And the operating room never looked back. Talk about anyone's worst nightmare. You know, it's like your worst nightmare materializing right before your eyes, right? Picture the scene. A man who served his country comes in for I believe it's called a splendectomy. That's that spleen, small, tucked away. And the plan is straightforward, right? I mean, the plan is crystal clear. But what the family and the investigators say happened was anything but that. They say that the surgeon removed the liver instead of the spleen. That's wild. That's crazy. The autopsy and the indictment, the emergency license order, they all point to a mistake so catastrophic that it stopped a life and started a whole legal machine humming. Now this isn't just one bad night. The state's emergency suspension of the doctor's license lays out a string of alarms. Earlier operations with serious complications, settlements, and a hospital that had to answer questions. It's crazy how these things happen, and then they reveal a lot of other stuff that's been going on. You know, it happens all the time. You know, it happens more than we realize. You know, when a regulator writes a 21-page order saying someone presents immediate and serious danger, I mean, that's not just a slap on the wrist, folks. That's a system screaming for a timeout. I mean, the criminal side of the story is loud too. A grand jury handed down a manslaughter indictment, and the doctor is sitting behind bars waiting for the next act. That's the part of the story where the law steps in and says, we're going to look at what happened, and if someone's responsible, we'll hold them to account. It's messy, folks. It's public, and it's painful for the family who lost a husband and a father. And then there's that human part, man, that doesn't fit neatly into court filings. You know, the widow says the hospital tried to cover it up. The family's chasing answers. The community's trying to make sense of a life that ended in a place meant to heal. That grief is the through line that makes the legalese feel heavy and the headlines feel small. This thing is a reminder that institutions can fail, folks. They really can. That systems meant to protect us sometimes miss the mark. And that's when, and when they do, people pay the price, sometimes with their lives. It's a reminder that accountability isn't a headline. It's a process. Investigations, suspensions, indictments, civil suits. They're all ways a society tries to stitch things back together after something goes terribly wrong. But here's the part I want to hold on to. Out of the wreckage comes lessons, man. Hospitals tighten protocols, regulators sharpen their oversights. Families find ways to push for change, so the next person doesn't have to suffer the same fate. Pain forces attention. Attention forces reform. It's slow. It's imperfect, but it's how systems get better. Sadly, I wish systems were more, were more proactive about avoiding these situations. But I really can't put a finger on whether it's just, cutting costs or just, I don't know. It's sad that we're reactive instead of being proactive. So yeah, man, this story is wild. It's tragic and full of questions. But don't let the outrage be the last thing you feel. Let it be the spark, man. Call your loved ones. Ask your doctors all the questions that you might feel stupid. Ask them. I do. I ask all the questions. You got to make sure. You got to make sure that you're going in there with a clear mind, and believe that even from the worst mistakes, people can build safeguards that save lives. Well, that's the kind of ending we're fighting for, and as sad as this is, man, I just man, it's just it's one of those things that just keep me up at night. I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna leave you with this, and just take care of each other. And if you get anything out of this content, like and subscribe. Thank you.